CVA's Accura Series, Agara barrels for guaranteed accuracy, nitride for guaranteed rust proofing, and a rifle guaranteed to be the best muzzleloader you've ever shot. CVA, it's just a better gun.
This segment's being brought to you by 3rd Regiment Game Calls, friends, family, and faith in the outdoors. One call at a time.
All right, welcome back, everyone. This week's Picture of the Week is being brought to you by Flowers Garden Center. And by the way, April 1st is when they're going to open up, right around the first weekend in April.
Be here before we know it.
It'll be here before you know it.
It's sneaking up on us.
I'm telling you. What the for?
Look at this fish here. Yes, we've been talking about some fish being caught. This fish was caught on March the 1st, and Jimmy Davis caught it while fishing on Nickajack Lake. And this fish weighed 12 pounds and 10 ounces. That
fish has got the Dunlap disease.
It does.
That belly has Dunlap over his
and just so everybody knows, he got some measurements and a weight on it and everything, and it was released. So it's back in Nickajack Lake, swimming around right now, eating shad, probably getting a little bit heavier. But congratulations to Jimmy on that fish. I mean, that is that is a fish of a lifetime right there. And thank his wife Lynette for sending us that as well. Our second picture here, this is Terry Carver with a nice bass that he caught recently here in Middle Tennessee. We've been getting several pictures from him. As a matter of fact, he's been catching bass and catfish and all sorts of things. So congratulations to Terry on that one. And we actually mentioned this a little bit earlier. This is Deacon Blair, and him and his dad Dayton fishing this past weekend. They had a very good day.
Yes,
and Deacon, one of these fish right here was 5.67 pounds. And in the tournament they were in that day out of Stewart's Creek, it won big fish, and they also came out with first place. So I want to say congratulations to Deacon on that. They had a great morning. So I think he's going to be just like his daddy. And speaking of his daddy, here's Dayton Blair with a stringer of crappie from just a couple of days ago, and those have already been put in the freezer and ready for the next batch. So
get a job.
Yeah, I tell you what, some guys. But congratulations to Dayton on that. And like we say, they're starting to catch those crappie. You guys can send your pictures to us here at 474 James Robertson Parkway. Better yet, just get them to me on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll get them here on the show just as fast as we can.
And we really appreciate all those pictures. And Deacon Blair, we may need to talk to him about being a pro staffer and take his daddy off.
I'm telling you, he is working himself up in the ranks real quick, isn't he?
He's part of the juniors in the high school bass fishing
over at Mount Juliet High School.
Yes, sir.
And it's an excellent program they have over there. I mean, the whole high school fishing program, period. But
across the state, you're listening to us from across the state. My goodness, if your school doesn't have it, get it.
Yeah, try to get it. Because
it doesn't involve tackling anybody or getting mad at anybody or anything. It's just fishing.
Yeah, and they're having a good time. It doesn't matter if you're boy,
girl, whatever.
Yeah, they're all having fun doing it. There's plenty of females out there that, don't think it's just for the boys, because there's plenty of girls getting out there doing it too.
And then when you look at it, Brandon, we got Bethel University is offering full scholarships for those kids that are doing really good.
Yeah.
And I happen to know some recipients that are getting full scholarships. Yeah. And it's like, you talk about a life changer. Yeah. That's a life changer.
Who would have thought that?
It didn't happen in my day.
Yeah, that's right. No, we didn't have such a thing. That's right. No. Did a lot of fishing, but it was never school sanctioned for sure.
But that's a life changer. All right, we have Gibby Gibson on here with us tonight. He is the collector of old antique lures. And I want to get the one, I want you to show this one first of all. The box here of the old Tennessee licenses, how you used to tow them around. And let's see if we can get camera 4. We're going to go with camera 4. Let's go with camera 4 on this.
Cool.
And
let me try to get the.
We're going to there you go. Now, Gibby, tell us a little. I saw some there, 1930s.
Yeah, there's a 1930 canvas back tag when you had to wear your license on your back. There are Tennessee issued buttons, license buttons for many years, and special buttons, and all those are are individual buttons when you had to put them on the outside of your coat so that they could look at you with a pair of binoculars and knew that you were licensed. There's a Tennessee Wildlife Resources patch, and there's the earlier Tennessee Game and Fish Commission patch, and each one of those badges are officers' badges.
Now the one that I think's the oldest is the very bottom middle permit.
That is the most unique because it is called the Appalachian Game Preserve, and it was made up from the 4 counties that donated land to Smoky Mountain National Park.
Okay.
And you had to buy a permit.
So that was the trout stamp.
I'm sorry?
That was the trout stamp back then.
No, it's not the trout stamp. That is a fishing and hunting.
That's a fishing and hunting.
Fishing and hunting. In those 4 counties, because all that land had been deeded to the federal park system, but it hadn't, in other words, come around and said it's Smoky Mountain National Park yet.
Right,
okay.
right.
So that's Blount, Monroe, Roane, and another county.
O'Brien?
There's 1935-36 game and fish laws, little pamphlet in there. It's just
now I've got one of those.
Yeah.
And actually,
I'm sorry,
Daisy Blair, her grandfather, let me have one, and he had a few, and he let me have one.
Well, if you
still got it.
A couple of those buttons are real foot non-resident buttons.
Really?
Yeah. If you came in and you were a non-resident in the state of Tennessee, you had to buy a non-resident license.
Oh yeah.
And so, and some of them were special license, like one there's for
Real Foot Lake.
Real foot pleasure fishing, non-resident.
Oh my goodness. Just full of it.
It's just a neat thing. Part of the history of our state. Our state has made a lot of contributions, and we'll talk about that later. Basically, what I've done is try to set up something here so that you can see the history of sports fishing.
Yes.
And of course, with this little case right there, the first fishermen were the American Indians.
Right.
And there are Indian handmade lures. There's a hook that's made out of the toe of a deer.
Can you show that, Daisy, right there? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And of course, they use a bow for fishing too.
Bow
fishing was, that type of situation. But you really think about it in the history, that knife, that's a true Sioux knife, probably was at a rendezvous at one time. But the mountain men, the two most prolific thing that they could bring to get pelts with was a fish hook, a knife, and then later on beads. Okay?
Yeah.
And that represents, that's a true trade knife. That's a true, inside of that buffalo skin hide, the beads, is a wooden sheath for that trade knife. Okay?
That is something.
Then we go to this next case right here, and all of these are pre-1900 fishing lures. Okay? And in fact, I have 2, if you'll look right here, those 2, if I can get my hand in the right place, those 2 right there are the very first patented fishing lures in the United States.
And what are they?
It's a J.T. Buell trolling spoon. They applied for the patent in 1846 and was granted in 1852, and they've got the patent dates on them. Okay? It's nothing, it's a buzzbait.
It's a buzzbait.
It's a buzzbait, okay?
And see, Bill Dance was just talking about buzzbaits this last weekend.
They were talking about it back in 1852.
All of those were made by silversmiths, coppersmiths, and that's really the beginning of sport fishing in the United States, where they became companies that actually made lures for commercial purposes. Okay, and that
and you
went
got
on.
some down there, Gibby, that look like a dragonfly.
That's a Fluger Maybug.
A Fluger Maybug.
And that's 1886.
Come on.
And
so Fluger's been around for that long?
Yes, they have. They really have.
That is a long time to stay in business.
Well, generally what happened is that until about the 1880s, 1890s, all of the stuff was made out of metal.
Yeah.
And then the wood revolution came out.
Right.
About 1900, that's where Fluger came in, where Hedden came in, Shakespeare, all the major manufacturers started making hand-turned, lathe-turned wooden baits, painting them and everything for the sport fishing.
For sport fishing.
And I'll show you some of those later.
What's the last case there?
All of those are what's called trap hooks. And I'll show you another trap in addition to that. This was when all fishing was subsistence fishing. And that means that you, whether you ate that night or not, depends on whether you caught the fish or not.
Right.
So all of these hooks were designed that when the fish hit the bait, the hook would in turn strike them, upping your odds of maintaining the fish. Okay.
We needed some of those this last weekend.
Yeah.
And
Better make them hold on it.
And here's another one. If you can see this, I'm going to show you an 1860s Evans fish trap. And if you look real close, it's got a little skewer here where you put the bait. It's got a pan on it, you know, the pan of a trap.
Right.
And then it is spring loaded. You'd hang it that upside down from a tree, and it opened up like this. And when the fish came hit the bait, bingo, you caught the fish. And then you had supper.
Can I borrow that, Gibby?
They won't allow it in the tournament.
Oh, okay. What they don't know.
But this is all part, like I say, all part of history. I brought you some reels down there, reels out of the 1850s, 1860s.
Daisy, can you show those reels right quick for us? I want him to look. Now,
the one out of brass on the left, the first one, is probably early 1850s, and if you'll note, it has both a tensioner and a clicker on it. The next one is 1852 Meek and Milam out of Frankfort, Kentucky. It's got a 12 o'clock handle. It's all German silver, handmade by a watchmaker, 2 watchmakers. The very first that we know in the United States was 1840s by the name of Snyder. The Meeks were the second that we know of out of Kentucky, and they were JF and BF Meek out of the 1850s, and that's an 1850s Meek and Milam because they hired Mr. Milam, a watchmaker, to come on board with them. And they made reels for about 5 or 6 years, and then they split and they went their separate ways. And you can see more.
And you said most of the reels made back then were from watchmakers and jewelers.
Either in New York or in Kentucky.
So we know Kentucky quite a bit now for keeping us in this in the stuff. I mean, a lot of things were made in Kentucky.
But all of these are now you're going to see one in the back there that's a little different. That's a lot of people haven't heard of these reels out of the 1800s, but everybody's heard of that reel in back right there, and that's a Zebco.
Zebco.
That's a Zebco, but there's something a little different about this Zebco.
It doesn't have 33 written on it.
This is first Zebco. I'll let one of you read the bottom. What does that say on the bottom of the foot right there? Can you read that?
Let's see here.
Here you go, Brandon. You need my
No, I got it. We got Zerhow Bomb Company.
No, it's 0 Hour Bomb Company.
Patent pen in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I see the hour now. Yeah, 0 hour.
0 Hour Bomb Company. When during World War II, Zebco, 0 Hour Bomb Company, was a bomb company. And when the war was over, they had no more contracts.
No more bombs.
So they went to making reels.
Really?
In the first 3 years they made reels, they marked 0 Hour Bomb Company on the foot of the reels. That's what that's made. So that's the origination of Zebco, which there's been more kids ever fish a Zebco, more people fish a Zebco.
Including me.
All started off
right. And that is, within the first 3 years, it's got the little ball in the back, got the free spool right there that you push, but it is the first 3 years production of Zebco.
Like my daddy said, live and learn, die and forget it all.
That's right.
I'm learning. All right, we got...
It's time to do this week's product of the week. This week's product of the week is being sponsored by our friends over at Caney Fork Outdoors. You can stop in and see them in Donaldson at the old Donaldson Plaza Shopping Center, or you can see them right there off the Center Hill Dam exit. Just head towards the dam, stop in there at the Big Rock Market, and they'll get you taken care of.
That's right. And Joel had a birthday too. Did you know
he did?
He did.
He had a recent birthday.
Yeah.
So happy birthday to Joel.
That's right.
All right, I'll tell you what we got tonight. We have a neat product tonight. This is from our friend Jeff Jackson over at Lamb Hanger Totes, and these are made right here in Middle Tennessee. What I have tonight, now these are the turkey totes. And if you want to, well, I don't guess you can hold it with that hand. I'm sorry, I about messed you up. I set you up for not success there. But anyway, you take these totes right here. They make a fantastic turkey tote. They hook on either end, put it over your shoulder. You can carry them out of the woods with it. But Jeff also makes scent drags.
Now show me how you hooking him up.
Okay, so on this end right here, this end would say wrap around the feet. You make a loop through there.
So you can wrap around one foot?
Correct.
Or the other foot?
Or both of them at the same time.
Or both of them same
Make that loop, hook him there, make that loop around his neck, same way.
Oh.
And you got a handle, put him right over your shoulder. It'll fold him, you carry him right out of the woods. Jeff also makes scent drags, he makes he makes call lanyards, he makes deer drags, all sorts of things.
Bow slings too.
Yeah, just about anything that can be made out of this nylon, he makes them, and he's been really successful with them. But we want to thank him for sending these turkey totes tonight. You guys can reach him by just going on Facebook and look up Limb Hanger Totes, and he can get you, like I say, any of these products we've talked about. He's got rattling horn hangers. I probably still haven't mentioned everything that he makes. No. And I'm sure he'll be putting out new products all the time. So again, Jeff Jackson with Limb Hanger Totes right out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Thank you again tonight, Jeff. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to open our phone lines. We'll have some more Southern Woods and Waters.